Hello guys, sorry we had some audio issues, but I think it's hopefully figured out now. I'll just wait for confirmation from the admin chat, but yes, so we're here for Thursday's Formula 4 race today. It's got a full qualifying format around the Singapore Grand Prix. We've got all 5 teams as always, 18 drivers here today. We got last week's race winner Mango, and obviously the P2 man Apex Finley is also here. But yeah, last week's race, it was quite an interesting one. We had Mango taking the win ahead of Apex Finley, and then in third place we actually had Shug's Life coming through after a bit of a battle between Prix and H Positive, and then Disaster on the last lap. In the Constructors' Championships, Force India have a bit of a healthy margin at the top, but it's not much, as we know. Anything can happen on Thursdays in Formula 4, and in the drivers, Big Weir's got a massive lead at the moment over King's Home. I think it is his teammate in second, then we'll just check the actual gap. Yes, a lead of 62 points over his teammate King's Home. He's going to be looking to extend that today, and as we move into the second half of the season now, we're in round 7 of 12 today. And this coverage is by LGE. So we're moving on to the first laps now. So we're going to Mango, and he goes into turn 1 and right on board as Bradfeld comes out the pits right in front of him, and that could have affected his lap a little bit. As we head on Rappels Boulevard we go, and as he now heads into the next corner, sorry I forgot to turn on the track map, I'll just do that now. And on the telemetry. And obviously as the first man out on track, Mango goes purple. Oh sorry, so yes, there's no one with me today unfortunately. Jonah's not available, so I'm taking over it. Sorry if I sound a bit croaky, I've got a bit of a cold potentially coming down, I'm not sure. But might be joined by someone else later on in this qualifying session, at least. A couple of yellow flags out on track right now, but Mango is currently on his lap still. As Slightly Insane to go to the top, I didn't even know some drivers were already ahead. Mango was just shown at the top. As we're going to see who's the next driver coming across, it's Shocked We Like, who jumps to the top on a 1:37.9. And I think that's another Ford coming through. Could that be Pryor on that? Oh no, it's not. I have no idea. Anyway, Mango will be the next one across the line now. As he comes to the final corner. Yeah, I saw you got a purple first sector, so I'm guessing it's a fairly decent lap from the man who took the win last time. And he jumps to the top with a nearly 2-second margin. We'll see if anyone else is able to slot in there as they continue to set lap times around this circuit. But it is only Q1, so drivers might be holding a little bit in reserve, and we'll have to see what they can do. As I actually noticed Apex Finley's gone out on the medium tyre, so perhaps wanting to get them out of the way. Lewis jumps to P2, but still 1.3 seconds off that brilliant lap time by Mango in Q1. So Braun have a bit of a margin. Braun have a bit of a good win at the last time out. It's forcing to have a bit of a margin at the top of the championship. So it'll be interesting to see how the team can close up. I've seen that Bentley are looking to close in on Force India. Ford are looking confident at going into this week. I saw some of the drivers talking about their potential chances, and they were saying just to keep it out the walls. After all, it's Singapore, it's very tight, twisty. So we'll see what they can do, as we've already had 3 of the Jordan drivers have already come across the line in this session, as BKS now jumps to P2, but it's still a second behind Mango. Next across the line is that there's I think that's Pryor on an outlap coming through next. I'll try and work out who they are. There's Lee got a little bit squirrely there coming through there. I don't know if he was on a lap or not. I'll try to figure out who's coming next back on a lap when I get to it, I'll see. I don't know if Bradfield's on a lap, they ran on board. He appears to be on a lap. So we'll see what I can do, he may have just backed out. I'm not sure. But anyway, so yes, we've got a big lead for Big Way in the Drivers' Championship, but in second place and further behind, there's a little bit of a battle going on. Particularly, we've got Kingston on 80, but 14 points further back is Waitsy, and 1 point behind that's Prix, and 1 point behind that's H. Wadsworth. So it's really getting tight in that Drivers' Championship. And the top three in the Constructors are quite spread out. There's almost 30 points between each set, so you've got Force India, then Bentley, then Ford. So it's really interesting to see how this develops, because obviously we're now 6 races into the season, 6 races to go, so we've reached the halfway point. And well, we'll see who comes out on top. Hopefully Joan will be back in a couple of races, but yeah, anyway, just me today. As the championship leader jumps to P3, but wow, Mango, he's got what a margin he's got right at the top there. That's over a second lead he's still got, and you know, we know Apex is quite fast. He was able to take second place last week in the Titanic battle with Mango, coming in with that final lap, overtake that Mango on the last lap. So we'll see if Apex can slot himself up there. Obviously he's gone out on the mediums, obviously wanting to get them out of the way. I think King's Home is also on the mediums, as H. Bosworth now jumps into P2, showing some better pace than he did in the practice session. I definitely think he was trying out some race pace in the practice session, certainly. So I'm going to have a look at some of your comments now and see if anyone's come in. Sorry, I haven't been checking them. We were trying to get the stream sorted at the beginning. And we're just going to have a look now. Yeah, as you can hear me. Hi, Zayek, you got any questions? I know you're on a bit of a ban this week for race time, which is unfortunate for you, but what are you thinking about your Brawn team's chances? Do you think they could take the win again with Mango? We'll just wait to come across the line now to the start. Is like, yeah, so we're going to watch Waitsy for a whole lap now. I'm going to ride on board with Waitsy around this whole lap. It's turn 1 and 2 to go. He negotiates that quite well, I would say. Gets on the power. He heads towards the next turn. And after this he's going to be able to raffles with all. As the prior Tibbers jumps to P2, he's still 6 tenths off Mango though. A little bit unsteady there for Waitsy out of that corner, but down raffles with all we go. And he's heading towards a bit of a tight corner, a bit of a tricky one to get right. You can easily oversteer wide onto the curb. I believe Ricardo had a contact here a couple of years ago with another car and got picked up a puncher. And now we head into this tricky section. It's always quite difficult to get this one right here. It's quite easy to clip the inside wall here as well, but he negotiates it well. And of course, he goes under the bridge and towards the hairpin. As Apex Bentley retires from the session. I believe we might be having a visitor commentary box soon. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But we're going back to Waitsy now to finish off his lap. He's got a purple sector too. I don't know how reliable that is, but we're gonna see. As he runs now under the I'm not sure what to call that. I really he goes under the thing and then he goes to the tight chicane at the end and he heads towards the final corner to finish off his lap. And yeah, that was most of a lap with a little bit of a cutaway in between. So it was Waitsy and he jumps to P3. So I think Ford are going to be very happy with that. They've got a 2-3 at the moment. I think they're going to be pleased with that. We're now going to get back Mango. It's not Mango. No, sorry. Prix has invalidated this lap, but I think he might be on his in lap. Lucas Paul is now on our lap, so now we're going to watch another Ford go for it. The Ford's getting a lot of screen time today. Oh no, he's on an out lap, sorry. Unsainted's not though. He's definitely on a quick lap. Oh, and we're hearing a bit of a insight here in the race. It's going to be raining potentially for some of the race, so Zayek's been in his rain dances. He's into overworked. Unfortunately, Zayek, you're not racing, but you may have stitched up your teammate there. Mango's not happy as Unsainted goes wide at the final corner and invalidates any lap he could have been on. And a lot of drivers now return to the pits for their final runs, I think. Yeah, if you want to come in here, Apex, feel free. So we've got a lot of drivers coming back to this now. I think there's about 5 minutes remaining once that yellow flag sign clears from the, oh, it's 6 minutes remaining once the yellow flag sign cleared. And we've still got 3 drivers at a time, plus Apex who's out with a Deanna, so he's not going to be happy with that. Ah, you did your rain dance before you found out you had a race ban. And you'd love to do the Singapore race, so that is unfortunate, but, you know, maybe Mango can still win in the brawn for you, you never know. So most drivers tend to the pits, other than a couple who are on the outlaps here. But yeah, I think most drivers are now going to be refueling for their final runs that they're going to be doing with a couple of minutes left in the session, so we'll see that. It might jump around and do it. I mean, Mango's got a command and lose it, so we'll see if anyone's able to displace him from that, but we'll see. It's quite tight up there, especially in the midfield, though. From 3rd down to, I would say, about 8th, there's only about half a second separating those drivers, as we now got Finley joining us. Hello, Finley. What happened in your qualifying, mate? What happened?
Oh, it went great. You know, I thought I'd be safe on the mediums, but no, they still overheat. Just how good this track is, obviously.
That is unfortunate, but are you still hoping to, when you get up into the race, to have a shot at winning this thing today, or is Mango looking quite dominant, do you think?
Nah, I'll win, easy.
Okay, so Apex quite confident here that he can still win it. What do you think in the comments? Just to you, Zach, I know you've got an opinion on this, but is it true that it could be raining for some of the race? That's what we've heard.
Yes, the first half, I believe. That's why I went out on the mediums. So.
Oh, you were trying to mix up the strategy. That's really interesting. Yeah, you were trying to get them out of the way. Well, we've still got the rest of Q1 and then Q2 and Q3 to go, as I think some drivers are now starting to potentially get ready to head out on their final runs. So, do you think anyone can knock Mango off the top spot in qualifying at least? Is it possible?
No.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a margin, hasn't he? He's looking quite dominant, but we'll see. A couple of drivers still set a time. I know all your Jordan boys have set a time though. Although the same thing might want to improve that. He's a little bit off the pace, but I think that's just because he was only in a band collapse, so we'll see if he jumps up. But, yeah, Lewis and Milan 8th and 10th, so, you know, reasonably safe. I would say they might go out and do another one. I think the top couple might not go out again, but, you know. Can you say you're surprised?
He's hit the wall.
Oh, has he hit the wall?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's got no front wing.
That's going to be unfortunate. He's going to have to go back to the pits. Will he have time to get back? I think he will, won't he, if he just pulls into the pits now?
Yeah, he'll have to have a quick outlap, but he should have time. Depending if he gets held by whoever his teammate is in the garage, but we obviously don't know who it is.
Yeah, exactly. So he should hopefully be okay to do a lap and hopefully get through. Obviously the bottom 3 are out in this session, and Flynn and Johnny still not yet at a time, but who would you say has done a very good lap that you were surprised by? Who's higher than you thought they'd be maybe in Q1, and can they carry that forward?
I'd have to say H. Bosworth. You know, I'd expect him to be out by now, but
interesting. I'm sure he'll be quite unhappy with that comment, but I think he'll be happy with his qualifying at least so far. And can he carry that into Q3? Do you think he'll be up there when it comes to the end of it?
No, I think that lap was a fluke, to be honest.
I think it's a fluke. That's interesting. That is, and you know, always good to see a bit of a banter between the drivers, and it was great to have you in the commentary box as always. Yeah, and Zayek's asking you about the Magnum that you had. Has it affected you in any way? Do you think?
Yeah, you might have done. No, I think it probably went straight to my head. But you know.
Yeah.
Vibes.
I heard you didn't like the almond ones either, which I thought was quite controversial because I'm quite partial for them.
It's not controversial. I personally think it's controversial liking them.
Okay, well, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one as the first drivers come out and set their final times. But a lot of drivers remaining in the pits, so they're not going to have to go out and set a time, though, correct? Because there's less than the time remaining. So, you know, the top 7 other than Prix are quite happy with their laps. Surprised by that?
Yeah. think he's safe, but you know.
You're all the way down to Grunfart in 7th. Do you think they'll be okay? They have got a bit of a margin, I suppose, to some of those further back.
Yeah, I think anyone in the mid to low 137 is probably safe looking at sometimes going down. Obviously, King Chong come back out on the mediums, so he's taking a bit of a risk, but I think he should have the pace to get through.
Yeah. Were you surprised about Shug's life staying in the pits in P13 though? That's quite surprising, isn't it? He could potentially get knocked out in that position, and obviously on Sainted, your teammate, he's not come back out, so he's in 16th. That's not looking good for him.
Just thought he didn't have time. Just looking at Rinaldi, he's only halfway around the lap and he's not got much time, but so he's going to have to speed up.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to have time to make it round, actually. It's going to be really tight if he does, but I don't think he is, you know, because he's still got the whole of Sector 3 to go, and he's only got 27 seconds. I think that could be curtains for him.
I don't think he's going to make it, so we've already got 2 that are out.
And yeah, and Lee's also come across the line to just set a lap as well, I believe. So...
He'll have to go on this lap, but obviously his battery isn't fully charged, he's only got 40% and he's only in the first sector, so...
Yeah, exactly. He's got 30% battery, you know, that's gonna... It's quite interesting to be able to charge it up as he goes, but it's gonna be quite tough for him to get through, but we'll see. I just realised the lap data hasn't been on my screen, so I'll turn that on now. That's the one thing I did forget. King's Ohm is currently 6/10 up on his lap, I believe, so he's looking quite safe to get through as well. So it's really only Lee we need to watch out for here. He's 1/10 off. He needs to find quite a margin to get himself in though, and he's looking quite unsteady here.
Yeah, and it looks like a good decision from Shug's life to stay in the pits, even though it did look dodgy. But you know, thanks to Lee, obviously, he's going to get through.
I think he'll be very happy with that, as yeah, Lee remains just off a little bit, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough for him to get through, unfortunately. As you see him coming through the final sector now, and it's looking like Gennady, Untainted and probably Flea are going to be out along with Apex U. You binned it. Did you bin it, or did you just retire? I'm not quite sure. I'm not actually had that. Oh, you binned it. Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't think you'd retire in pits that low down, but it's really unfortunate that is, of course, and kind of quite disappointed with that. Oh, he's actually got through, and that is a surprise. I did not think he'd do it, but he obviously wanted to beat your time. So let's take that into account, obviously, because you retired, so... And he's made it, so he's going to be really happy with that, and it's not been a good day for Jordan. Obviously, you're part of Jordan, so what can you tell us about the team? How are they going to bounce back from this in the race?
Points are scored in the race, that's all I have to say.
Apart from fourth pole position.
He's got pace.
Obviously he has got pace, and obviously now maybe you'll have to do something wacky with the strategy. I know it's starting in the wet, but could some of you take a gamble and come in earlier, potentially?
Yeah, I'll probably take one for the team, depending on what position I'm in. If I'm still near the back, I'm probably going to have to roll the dice. It's not the easiest track to overtake.
No, but you proved last week you had pace, you got second last race, so I think you were relatively happy with that. Obviously you want to take the win, but Mango was looking immensely strong. I believe he's equally as strong at this track, so it's a bit menacing for the rest of the grid, but we'll see what they can do, as I think we're just waiting for the last driver to come into the pits now to finish off Q1.
Real battle seems to be who's going to be able to guess on that front row with Mango, you know. Really half a second between second and 7th.
Yeah, exactly. It's looking really tight. And even Grunfart could be in the shots. Who you predicting then? Go on, I want to hear your predictions of who's going to be on the front row.
Well, I think Mango's got to be on pole, and I've got to back the Jordan boys, so I'll say Lewis in P2.
Interesting. You weren't fancying H. Bosworth. I know you were criticising him a bit early. You think he's going to be not up there in that fight?
No.
Interesting.
No.
Interesting.
With midfield, maybe 5th, 6th.
I'm thinking maybe Big Weir, you know, the championship leader, he's got quite a margin. That confidence is going to be helping him. Obviously, a retirement last race at Singapore wasn't good for his championship, but thanks to some other retirements, he actually didn't really lose much in the championship at all. I don't think he lost at all, so he's going to be looking to bounce back today, and I think he could be on the front row, but we'll see. So we should, hopefully... Oh, yeah, a bit of a glitch here, and that's... Yeah, this is not good. We'll have to see if the glitch resolves itself. as we now got Martin Garz and Aaron Barnes appearing at the bottom of our standings. I'm not quite sure who they are, but I think the game's got a bit confused.
I think one of them might be Zayek in disguise.
And that's very naughty of Zayek to be sneaking into the qualifying session like that. He's gonna have to, you know, Zayek, you can't be doing that, so. Yeah, Zayek, I know, they do need to retire, you're right. You need to retire, Zayek, that's not good enough. But anyway, so in this session we had Mango P1, Pryor P2, and Lewis P3, and the drivers that are out are going to be Gennady in 18th, Sonsati in 17th, and unfortunately, U-Apex in 16th. So, Q2's up next, once we eventually get this glitch resolved. What are your predictions, if any?
Mango first.
Yeah, but who you think is going to go out? We know you think Mango is going to be first. He's looking quite dominant, but you know, who are you thinking could be at risk of hitting the drops? And obviously, Force India there, 13th, 14th, 15th in that session. That's looking a bit dicey for them, is it not?
Yeah, I think King Sean obviously did his lap on the mediums and Sugar's Life didn't go out at the end, so I think those two have a bit more pace, but Flea's going to struggle to get into Q3, I think, but see how high up he can get.
Interesting, and then obviously you've said about Tyre Battle, particularly for the top 8, and you're thinking King's Home and Sugar's Life could join that, but you've still got the people like the two Fords, Milan and JD Bradford, and even Lee could get in there himself, so you know, anyone could be in the top 10 here for Q3, so we're just going to see what happens, but yeah, the glitch does not seem to be resolving itself, and we'll have to see what the admins do about this, but hopefully they can get it sorted. Oh, and there we go, Lucas Paul has had a session and it seems to have fixed it. Between them, the admins have managed to sort out the situation, get us into Q2, so let's hope that we can get going into Q2 now. But yeah, as you said, rightly pointed out, King's Home on the mediums. I don't know what the delta is on this track. Is it with that? Yeah, so we could expect to be in the back end of that fight for the top 10. You know, he could be expecting to be in there, so we'll see if it's possible. But yeah, you said rain for the start of the race. You're thinking full wet inters, or we really got no idea?
Well, obviously we won't know. It looked like heavy rain, so I'd have to say full wets, but yeah, you never know, it could be intermediates.
That could be quite exciting, couldn't it, for the start of the race, especially if it dries up throughout the race like you said it might, so who knows, but you know, I'm looking good on in the commentary box, even if it's without you for the race, but you know, obviously I wish you all luck in the race, and we'll see if you can bring anything home. I think someone's going to have some serious pace today to beat Mango. He's looking unstoppable unless he has a retirement and qualifying. I'd expect him to be on the front row like you said. So, and you too now.
There's a rumour around the paddock that Mango isn't as confident in his race pace here as he was in Abu Dhabi. Obviously he's still got the 1 lap pace, but we'll have to see how that translates into the race.
That's interesting, and you know, he was still doing quite dominant in qualifying, but he was also dominant in qualifying in Abu Dhabi and took the win. But if he's not feeling as confident, maybe someone else will have a chance here. Singapore's one of those tyres where your tyres can overheat quite a lot. I know I've experienced that, and obviously you said that caused your retirement. Do you expect a lot of incidents today, potentially, even if there's tyre overheating or not tyre overheating?
Yeah, I think anyone who ends up on the softs, they will overheat pretty quickly, and even the mediums on that qualifying lap overheated. I think less so in the race, but you never know, there is a lot of corners.
And what's your strategy going to be? You're going to take it aggressive at the start and try and make up positions, or is it about keeping your nose clean in the opening laps, obviously? Sweat them.
A bit of controlled aggression, I think. Try and make up positions, obviously don't want to be at the back. Especially if I end up having to double stack with whoever's in the same garage as me. So I want to make up as many positions to minimise that risk.
Yeah, 100% agree, and I can totally understand that. And you know, you're going to be hoping that your team, obviously I believe you're still in last in the constructors, but you've made it up the drivers a little bit. You're going to be hoping to claw some more of those points back?
Yeah, well, I just didn't have a very good start. The attendance was not great from our drivers in the first couple of races, but we've started to improve. We're catching up, and obviously I play my part in that, try to score as many points as possible.
Absolutely. And are you thinking you can still go for the constructors title, or is it a little bit far out of reach for you? And like, you obviously got quite a margin to make up at the halfway point.
But you never know. There's lots of sprints, and with 4 drivers on each team, you can score. There's a big point swing each race. If say like a full team DNFs or a full team finishes in the top 5 or whatever, so you never know.
Yeah, anything is still possible. Even up until the last couple of races, I believe anyone would still be able to win the constructors. And for the drivers, for yourself, how are you feeling about the drivers? Is that something you're aiming towards, or has Big Ray got a very large margin this season?
I think the gap is too big to close, to be honest, but I'm going to try and get as high up as possible.
Second is still on the cards. Yeah, second still looks on the cards. It's quite bunched together, particularly from third downwards. Second isn't that far out of reach either for you, I don't think. So, I think that'd be a good result considering you joined midway through.
Yeah, missed the first 3-4 races, I think it was 4.
Exactly, so it'd be a very good recovery from you if you're able to get there, and we're looking forward to seeing what you can do in the upcoming race, obviously with me, and hopefully Jonah will be back in a couple of races too, to carry on with the commentary. So we're going to have another look at the comments now. I don't know if anyone's put anything in there recently. Have you spotted anything coming in?
Just Zayek, he confirmed the rumour that apparently Mango's race pace isn't as good as his qualifying pace. And Zayek also said to always dive bomb lap bomb turn 1. Which I unfortunately don't think I'm going to take that tip. Sorry Zayek. But
that's a great insight there from Zayek, but again, not all drivers agreeing with it. Some controlled aggression coming in from Apex here. We'll see how that works out for him. But yeah, the first drivers are coming around now to start their laps, and some of them are on their laps, I believe. I'm not quite sure who's the lead runner. I'm trying to work it out. Is that a Force India at the front of the queue? Is that Kingston potentially at the front of the queue?
Yes, I think it is Kingston.
Yeah.
What I've just seen is that Prix Fib is actually on the medium, which is interesting because it is going to start on the wet tyres or intermediate tyres.
That is very interesting. Maybe he's just wanting to use them for his first set so he gets more soft ones later on, perhaps. I'm not sure as a Mango. Kingston comes in at a 37 flat, but Mango jumps right up. What a large margin ahead, and Big Wheel slots in just in front of his teammate. And now we've got JD Bradford coming in a little bit further off the back of the pack, but potentially not the cleanest lap there as Milan some more threads to get between Big Wheel and Kingsholm, and that's a tight margin now between those three. SBK slots in right behind, and it's looking like the fight's getting to the positions maybe 8th down to about 13th is going to be really tight, and some of the battle for like the top second down to about 7th. I'm thinking it's going to be really tight in this qualifying session, so
I think it will, and someone who's probably in that fight, Lewis, he's got no front wing, so he must have an instant on his lap and now he's coming to pit, so
yeah, your teammate, yeah, it's not looking good for the Jordans, is it? But you've still got Milan up there, he's mixing up with some of the faster runners.
Good lap.
Yeah, it was quite a good lap. And as I said, it's going to be really tight up there. H-Bowser seems to have slipped back a bit on his first run as he predicted, but maybe it wasn't the cleanest run, you don't know, he might improve on his second run, we'll see. I think we've got Shugs Life coming now down as well. He's heading along straight and he's now hitting sector 3. He's going a little bit wide there, but he's still managing to keep it within the bounds just about.
A bit wide.
Yeah, it's not been the cleanest lap, but he's kept it within the bounds, which is important for a banker lap, obviously. But he's coming into the pits, yeah. It wasn't the cleanest. Oh, Shug's Life, and he's cut the pit entry there. I'm thinking that's not the best way to get into the pits, but anyway. We've got
a tricky pit entry here.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, is it 37 as well? It's quite slow, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very narrow, so the speed limit is quite low.
Yeah, I don't come with all of Jonah's stats, unfortunately. I'm not got as many as Jonah does, but I'll do my best. I think Waits is also on is that an out lap or push lap? I'm not quite sure. I think he'll be on a push lap. He's going quite quickly.
Like he's pushing, yeah.
Yeah, he seems to be pushing a lot. He says he's got a purple sector too, but that could be lies. As you know, the game glitches a lot sometimes through the middle sector purples, but yeah, he's definitely on a push lap now.
I think Braun right there have a good qualifying, 3 drivers in the top 6, and obviously only got 3 drivers racing tonight due to Zayek not being able to race tonight.
Yeah.
H was just said that he used old softs.
Oh, that is interesting. That could explain some of the pace there, does it? As Waitsy jumps into P2, and that's a good result for the Ford driver. He splits the 2 bronze in first and third, so I think he's going to be happy with that. But we've still got 6 drivers yet to set a time, 3 of the Fords, 2 Force Indias, and Lewis, your teammate who lost his front wing earlier on. So, what can we talk about? Let's talk about the races since you've been here, since you've certainly had some experience in that. Let's go back, cast our minds back to Belgium, and that last lap, because I know you're going to want to talk about that a lot. What was it like to win that race, effectively the final corner with a double overtake?
Oh, it was great, obviously. I was P6, P7 at the start of the last lap, but I knew I had the freshest tyres. I had the pace. So it was about to get in the moves done early on in the laps, then I could chase after the top 2. I could see them trying to battle, so I got a close tackle, and rather fortunately they took each other out and just slid past.
Yeah, and absolutely. Did it surprise you going to the final corner? Were you thinking, yeah, I'm going to get a P3 here? Were you expecting them to trip over each other, particularly on the exit of the last corner, which caused you to be able to pass on the run to the line?
Well, maybe thought I could sneak one position if one of them made a mistake and ran wide or got spun around. I think I'd managed to get both of them and win, but rather fortunate, especially as I spun earlier on in the race while trying to come through the field, but can't earn my own luck.
Absolutely, and then obviously going back to last week at Abu Dhabi, I was actually there for the commentary on that one. What was it like seeing Mango close down the gap? Obviously, it was coming down lap by lap. We were not thinking he was going to do it at first, but Mango, he had insanely good pace. So, yeah, how did that feel for you?
Yeah, he had a very good pace. On the first lap, I think he only gained about 1.5 seconds. On the next lap, he pushed his ERS. And I think he gained about 4 or 5, and I pretty much knew he was going to catch me. So I started saving my battery, which is how I could defend on lap 27, but in the end, he got me. He just had too much grip on those fresh tyres. My tyres started to die off. I didn't have anything to defend, really.
Yeah, exactly. And we see Lewis jump into P4, your teammate, but I've just had a comment in the Discord, actually, a wet Q3 potentially. Now that could mix things up, because Mango wasn't very happy about his wet pace, I'm pretty sure I heard earlier on. So,
yeah, he wasn't happy that it was raining.
You know, could that mix up the pole fight, or do you think, you know, maybe the gap will come down, but Mango's still looking unstoppable and dry? Will he carry some of that performance through into the wet, do you think, or is it a completely different game?
Well, you never know. It is completely different, and you don't know what setups people are running. You have to say, with Mango's pace advantage, that he's probably running a dry setup. But people like Big Weird, he's usually higher up. He might run in a wet setup, or maybe he just don't have the pace on his track.
Ooh, as Kingzone retires out the chicane, as he's hit the wall and gone across the track there. I'm just seeing it on JD Bradford's point of view, and that is unfortunate for the Ford driver. He's probably going to be out there if anyone can beat him in the bottom 5. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to. Obviously, we've still got 3 drivers still set a time, but I'd expect one of them certainly to jump up, as we only got 4 minutes left in this session now, and most drivers are either returning to the pits or starting their laps now.
Jay Bradfield's not on the lap, and Flea and Lucas Paul are both in the pits, and Shockley, like Sugarlife's both invalidated, so these guys haven't got much time. It's running out, and they've got to get a lap in quick.
Yeah, as Shug's Life is still starting his next lap. I think he's going just down towards the rundown to Rappels Boulevard. I'm afraid I don't know any of the corner names at Singapore. I don't know if a lot of them have names, to be honest. I know this one. Well, more like the straight mostly, with the kink in it. Well, yeah, I think he's going to be trying to put the lap together. He's got 35% battery, so that might be enough to get him through most of the lap, I would have thought. And Shug's Life is going to try and sneak his way ahead of his Force India teammate, but it's not looking good for the Force Indians. You know, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 14th at the moment.
And Big Ray's come out again. He would have wanted to maybe save that set of softs for an extra lap in Q3 if it does stay dry for the whole of Q3. But he's had to come out and set another lap.
Yep. I think he's going to need to, because look at how tight it is between, well, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, you know, all really bunched, and there's little bigger gaps, but it's still really bunched in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, to be honest. And H. Bosworth, he's defined pretty well as Kingsholm gets pushed out on the top 10 there, and he's definitely going to be out. That's one driver we know will not be in the next part of qualifying as Bradfield improved. I think Shug's
lap from Bradfield.
Yeah, he's got himself right in the mix that I was talking about. And Shug's Life now comes to the final corner and only jumps to 12th. It's really not looking good for the Fords now. They've got 3 in the bottom 5 who've set times now. One of them's out, and it's only Big Way who's really outside the top 10.
Big Way was down on his time in sector 1 as well, so it's not looking good for them. And it is starting to rain, so I think we've got our bottom 5. Don't look like anyone's going to be able to improve.
That is unfortunate, but I'm seeing Shotby come through the final corner now. Is he going to jump up enough? No, he only jumps to 12th, and you think you're right about the rain. It's ruining some laps, and those that left it late have been caught out here, and it's going to be, quite frankly, a disaster for... Oh, Shotby nearly lost the car there. Is that another driver spinning off? Did I just see? I think the rain, maybe not, maybe just my eyes playing tricks on me, but yeah, the rain's picking up now, and that seems to be it, unfortunately. I don't think he's got a good 4 days at this. They're in the championship fight, they've got the lead of it, but Bentley are currently going to out-qualify them here.
Yeah, Bentley look like they've got more pace than the Force Indians and more drivers in the top 10. This session shows the importance of getting that bank lap in. Jay Bradfield maybe counts himself a bit lucky as he just set a lap as it started to rain.
Oh, as Lee loses it! Oh, and that's a big crash for Lee. He's lost it under the bridge and he's completely out. Not that they were going to improve anyway, I think it was over, but the wet stuff has made it really slippy there, and it's not surprising that he's crashed, to be honest. Shug's Life is trying to improve, but 2.3 seconds down, the track's just got a little bit too wet for any times to be set, and you know, they all tried to head out at the end to improve, but unfortunately, some of them left it too late. And so, it's really interesting actually, how dynamic the season is, because at the start you had mainly Bentley and Force India, I would say, dominating every race. Ford had some good qualifying results, but obviously slipped back a lot in the races. But now you're seeing kind of the reverse of that. Certainly, Braun... Oh, yeah. He's just getting back to the pits though, he's invalidated.
Fib's actually gone out and started a lap.
He's 5 seconds down. Yeah, he's 5 seconds. He's on soft though, is it? And he's 5 seconds down. He's not really improving with that.
Yeah, you can see the standing water on the track. Don't think it's intermediates at the moment. I think the drivers will still be faster, but there's not enough grip to improve on people's times when it was fully dry and no rain.
Absolutely. And a very good point there, but obviously it could worsen between Q2 and Q3 by a little bit, so when we come back for Q3 obviously we'll see what tyres the drivers on. I feel like we could have a mix at the start, maybe people might even go on different tyres if the margin's close, you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say Braun certainly, 3 drivers in the top 10, they're going to be happy with that. Obviously Jordan, I think Jordan have got 2, is that right? Yeah. I think Ford have got 2, Bentley have got 2, and Force India with 1. So it's really a bit of a reverse in the championship here. A lot of the teams at the bottom of the championship have actually got more drivers in the top 10 than, well, everyone has got more drivers in the top 10 than the championship leaders, Force India. So, you know, this could play in really nicely. Force India have got the gap, but can they hold on throughout the season if maybe teams like Braun, particularly with Mango, and obviously Jordan with you, are starting to, you know, start to gain some points back on them.
Yeah. Jordan made a good comeback in qualifying. Obviously, we had 2 drivers out in Q1. We've now got the other 2 into Q3, and I think Force India and Ford will be disappointed. They got all 4 drivers out of Q1. Now most of them have fell in Q2 and won't take part in the final session.
Yeah, no, absolutely well said. And Obviously today we had, there was 18 drivers on the grid. I think only, was it Bentley were missing one today, and was it Braun also missing one today? So I'd
Yes.
say Braun have got to be there. We know why Braun missed one, as DRS gets disabled, and that indicates it could be intermediate conditions potentially. No, coming up. But yes, Braun are going to be happy with that, I would say. They're first, fifth, sixth, and obviously they've only got 3 drivers racing today, so they couldn't really ask for much more, I would have said.
Yeah, they've made the best of a bad situation, I think. For obviously only having 3 drivers. What's going to be interesting for Q3 is whether there's a difference in the strategies, whether people decide to do 1 lap on the intermediate and pit for a fresh tyre, or whether people decide to set consecutive laps and try and find the grip and be on the track when the track's at its best.
Absolutely, well, they overfuel the car to do that as well. And potentially, if the track it starts raining heavy enough, could it potentially be an intermediate wet condition where they need to get the laps in quickly if the track gets much worse at the end?
Yeah, it's all about who can be on the track at the right time, on the right tyre, and get the lap in.
Yep, absolutely, and that's what makes it interesting in the wet, and I'm thinking the race could also be very interesting in the wet too. So we're heading into Q3 now, and no repeat of the glitches at the end of Q1 there, and we've still got a nice pole battle for you, even though this one is going to be slightly different to ones we've seen before. Have we had a wet qualifying this year? I can't remember. We may have had one. I don't think you've taken part in a wet qualifying this year, have you?
No.
No, I can't remember one in the first couple of races. If I'm wrong, Zayek, maybe you could give me a shout in the comments. I know you're there. You can probably remember better than I can if there's been a wet race this year. But the rain is coming down, and I'm going to see what everyone else comes out on the
first out on the Inters.
Oh, is he? And maybe it is Inter conditions then, yeah. Milan's leaving the pits on the Inters. PKS is on the Inters. Everyone seems to be heading out on the Inters. It's looking like quite a popular...
It does look like the rain is quite heavy. Maybe we will see the transition to heavy wets later on in qualifying. Maybe explaining why all these guys are coming out so soon on the intermediates, try to get that lap in. Wow, it is the intermediates.
Yeah, 5 drivers already on their out laps, since it is 6 now. And everyone's basically coming out the pits. There's another 7 drivers on their out laps. And it does look very poor in the middle of the sector. I just missed it, that was like sorry, but watching people come to Raffles really well. I think everyone is now coming out onto the track, are they?
Yeah,
there's Bradfield and Pryor.
Just in front of Jay Bradfield. Jay Bradfield's coming down the pit lane.
I would not.
Out in front of him.
Yeah, I would not want to be the last person out on track here. It seems like it's, or the first one, to be fair. You never know how treacherous it is, but the conditions are only going to get worse. So those who stick the laps first are going to be at an advantage of maybe a couple of tenths at least. You never know. If you're half a lap ahead, it could be worth a couple of tenths at least if the rain's really that bad.
It does look very heavy. So obviously we don't know. Jeff will be telling these guys what the best tyre is. But we don't have any idea.
Obviously, if they run outside a lap now, do you think they would maybe, rather than pit in for the wets, do you think they would just start the inter lap if it was right at the beginning? Maybe they just go into the inter lap rather than if the things change. I suspect most of them are planned for the fact that the inters are going to be slightly faster than the wets to start off with, so they probably overfueled the car some of them.
Yeah, I think unless they're certain that the wets are faster, they've got to set the lap, because these will probably be where the track conditions are at the best.
Oh, as JD Bradfield nearly loses it and spins into the wall, but he just avoids touching the barrier there. That's crucial. If he had to come in, imagine, that's going to lose him a lot of time. Oh, that's Milan in the wall as well. And he's lost his front wing, and that's not good news for them. Lewis is losing the back end as well, as they wonder that bit. But we'll go to the first drivers on our laps. It's Big Weir is that leading the packet around the first lap, and we'll see what they can all do. I'm interested to see what Mango can do actually in wet conditions, because I think some of the drivers are peeling into the pits already. They might have damage. Oh, and both Jordans got damage there, and all that good hope from the Jordans seems to have collapsed a little bit here unless the track gets better.
They were quite close to each other on the track, so I wonder if one of them maybe went into one and the other one hit the one who's behind hit the one in the wall, and they are both actually in the same garage, so I think it was Milan actually got held up by Lewis going to the pits, or vice versa. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think Milan hit the wall just before the bit where it goes under. Wonder, I bet it's a bit of a tunnel-like thing, and I think maybe Lewis just hit the side of him. I'm not sure. Maybe Lewis lost it earlier on the lap. I'm not sure. Anyway, we've still got a big wheel coming down now to the end of this straight into the tight corner. Obviously, he's first out on track, so he's got a pass.
Sector times and H Bosworth is half a second up on Big Wheel through that section.
That is interesting to know. Could we see H Bosworth grab a pole position here today? But I'm wondering how Mango's looking already. As Big Wheel just avoids the wall. That was very tight. I'm wondering if anyone's going to clip that. It seems to be very tricky under there.
There seems to be no grip. Maybe it is full.
And Big Wheel almost loses it through that corner and heads into the final corner. He needs to put it together now. Puts down the power to the final corner and crosses the line. 1:54, but who's going to jump up next? H Bosworth. 1.3 seconds faster almost. And who's next to cross the line? It's BKS. Then it's Mango. And Mango goes to the top and he's still obliterated the time. He wasn't confident in his lap pace, but he's obliterated the time and waits his slots in just in front of H Bosworth.
The time's getting quicker. Maybe the track conditions are improving as both of the Jordans have come back out on the intermediates, proving that it's probably not full wet conditions as of yet, and these cars clearing the standing wall, for maybe the track conditions are getting better.
Yeah, you're going to be hoping for that, I suspect. Yeah. You're too...
He's not exactly what I did.
He's really lost it in a big way there to the final corner. He finished his lap, I think, yes he did.
Yeah, but it won't be a very competitive lap once these guys start to prove. I think obviously he did spin out the final corner, which would have lost him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, he could potentially have been on the second now. I don't think he would have beaten Mango potentially. I'm not sure it was worth a second if he was close to the line.
Jay Bradfield's opted to pit rather than putting that banker lap on the board, and he didn't invalidate. So see if that decision pays off.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll have to see. Obviously, he's got the track conditions. He knows what's happening slightly better than us. So, you know, if he feels that was the right decision based on what the engineer was telling him, then I'm sure that's what he's going to do. As Lewis gets very close again to the barrier, and there, I wish it sticks out a bit, but especially in the wet, you know, it's very easy to just understeer into that barrier. And you know, he's not hoping not to do that. I think Lewis is starting his lap now.
None of the top six decide to go for another lap. I think they're all going to pit, or maybe it's on a cool down lap. But Gronfeld has decided to go again, which is understandable, as I don't think he's got a representative time.
Yeah, a lot of them are heading into the pits right now. Oh, Lewis, he almost loses the back end through. Is that about turn 3? Yeah, turn 3 I think that is. But he somehow survives it. Oh, and again, lots of... We're going to have to see the track to improve, because obviously these guys are setting a time a long time after the others, so we're going to be seeing how far they are off the pace. And he gets the purple set to 1 of a 31.4. I'm not sure how competitive that is compared to the others in the first sector. Yeah.
He's quite far down on Mango's time. It's about over a second off, so I think maybe the track is getting worse. Gronfeld managed to improve his time, but not enough to really be competitive, so I think it may be Jordan 9 and 10 if the track conditions are getting worse.
Yeah, and they did make a lot of mistakes in that first sector, but it depends on the grip levels. I'm going to see Milan come over. Milan gets a 30.9, so that's slightly better, I think, but a little bit closer to Mango's time. He could be maybe in the mix for, you know, 5th place maybe with that, but we'll have to see how his lap progresses.
Well, Mango's shown that he still has the pace in the wet.
Yep.
As well as he can.
Absolutely, it's just that consistency in the wet. Does he still have the consistency in the wet as well? But he's still definitely got the pace. He's shown that.
Validators, that could be costly.
He needs to set a time. You know, even if it's worth it, that could be worth a position or two if the others also can't set a good time. Milan really struggling.
Saw Jay Bradfield get a time in very late in Q2 as well. Maybe he's struggling with the track limits and maybe not being able to get a clean lap in. So maybe see a few of these guys not set a lap.
Yeah, is H Bosworth validated as well, and is he going to come in now? Yes, he does. Very cautiously into the pits as always. I think my landing's going to set a time here this lap though. He seems to be on 1, I think, and he's not invalidated it yet. If he can just keep it out of the walls and on the track for the final couple of corners, he's going to be setting a time.
He just looks so slow and awkward, which is what Singapore wet race is. It just feels like there is no grip, and he's only going to manage P8.
It is better than P9 or 10 though, and with those two drivers still yet to set up proper time, that could be worth position, particularly if something goes wrong for them here. So, you know, it's good that he finished his banker lap, but if he wants to go again, well, I don't think there's much time left on the clock, so he might have to go again on this run. Will he get round in time to come into the pits? I'm not sure, I can't see because of the LF lag now.
No,
I
don't think he's going to be able to pit.
He's going to have to hope he's fueled enough then to go again. Because obviously it's nearly a 2 minute lap in the wet, and so people are going to stop them out and lap to their pits now if they want to set another time, really. They've got like another 30 seconds to come out.
Lewis is on lap, he's coming into the final sector. His first sector was very similar to Milan's first sector on his lap, so see if he will be in that region of times, or maybe he can get a bit higher up.
Yeah, absolutely. And will Lewis actually get a lap in this time? He hit and clamps the barrier again now. He is going to finish his lap now. Yeah, he is going to finish his lap now. And he jumps to 8th. And will he go again?
Well, his fuel indicator is flashing red, so don't worry, he's going to have enough fuel. But if he's going to go again, if he's going to have a cooldown lap, he's pretty much got to go at full qualifying speed. I think he is out of fuel, so Lewis is not going to improve his time.
Yeah. As the other drivers are starting to come out on track, well, they have gone out on track, all of them now. If they want to do it, they've all got to be on an out lap. I think Piquet has actually started a push lap, this is now. As he's passing Lewis there, Lewis on the left. And we'll see what the thing's like. He's 0.1 seconds down on his first lap there, through the first sector, so the track is maybe slightly slower than it was to start with.
Yeah, it seems to be slow, especially with the bottom three. The last 3 set laps are in the bottom 3, so it does look like the track's getting worse, and I'd be surprised if any of these guys can improve, as Milan's just won, I think, so he's not going to improve either. I think the bottom 3 will stay as they are.
Absolutely, as JD Bradford's actually 4 tenths up on this next lap through the first sector, so bit of an improvement for him coming maybe, if he can stick it together throughout the rest of the lap, but we're now going to go and watch the people right up at the sharp end, I think. Those are on laps, and we're going to see what they can do.
Is also up on his time in the first sector, and BKS has invalidated that.
Wait, he's hit the wall.
Yeah, I think that's his lap done.
Yeah, I think
unless H. Bosworth, Groenfeld or Bigwit can displace him, I think Mango will have pole.
And H. Bosworth's invalidated, but it is only his out lap, as he got time to start his lap just in time. Can't tell once it's in time.
Groenfeld won't make it though. And Mango's actually backed off, so he's not going to improve it either.
H. Bosworth only just made it, but he did just make it.
I think BKS made it as well, and he's right behind H. Bosworth, so maybe he will get held up by the dirty air, but at least he's managed to start that lap in time.
Absolutely, and you know, they're both going to try and push and get their best time here. I think Waitsy's lap's done, he's 1.8 seconds down. Mango is very far
off pace. Joe Bradfield, Bigwit and BKS and H. Bosworth on laps. Joe Bradfield's going to come to the line, I think he will improve and may jump Milan, which he has, and managed to get P9.
Yeah, and that is a Jordan 810, which obviously you're not going to be very happy with, but it is what it is. Jordan, you're going to come back stronger in the race, I presume. But we've still got 3 drivers on fairly decent laps. I think Mango's on 1, but it's a bit slow at the moment, so...
Mango not going to improve, I think, and all these guys are down on their time.
So Bigger's actually invalidated, so it's just H. Bosworth and BKS as well, man. We're going for laps. So watch
what the sector times are like here. H. Bosworth is pretty much matched his time on his last lap, and BKS is half second down, so I think there's only really H. Bosworth who may be able to get onto the front row.
And defy your prediction, he said he wouldn't get onto the front row. Can he do it?
No, well, I hope he does.
Yeah, and he needs to find another, well, pretty much on his time before, and he's another half a tenth. Will he be able to find that time?
That was pretty wide off. Grip in there's just no grip in the final sector. A lot of these guys are struggling, but
yeah, he's going to come to the final corner now and get on the power. Will he do it? Yes, he does. He jumps to P2 and gets on the front row. I think he's going to be very happy with that. But Mango, wow.
Final sector, he found about 4.5 tenths, I think, in the final sector compared to his previous lap, and that's got him on the front row. Maybe he can just challenge Mango into turn 1. As realistically, he's the one with nothing to lose. Mango's the one who's got the pace at this track, so he's got everything to lose in terms of the race victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, well, you're going to be heading off now to do your race. So, I wish you the best of luck in your race, and thank you for doing qualifying commentary with me.
It's been a pleasure.
Alright, no problem, and I hope it goes well with Jordan today.
Alright, thank you.
So, Apex leaving us there, and now I've just got you to keep me company in the comments. So, we're going to be heading to the race in a minute. It is obviously a 50% race after that full qualifying session. Very exciting. Mango took P1 with H. Bosworth in P2. Waitsy was third with Pryor Tim in 4th. BKS in 5th with Grunfeld in 6th. Big Weir in 7th with Lewis in 8th. And then we had JD Bradfeld in 9th and Milan Massino rounding out the top 10 on the grid. Got any predictions in the for the race? Then stick it in the comments. As oh, I missed it earlier on. Sorry, Austria. Yes, Austria was a wet qualifying. And you also predicted Big Wave pole. That wasn't quite correct, but you know, a good prediction. One. What are you thinking, Zayak? I see you in the comments there. Who are you thinking is going to win this race? Do you think Mango can win it? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be getting first. I'm on commentary, though I wish I could, but I mean, I'm here. There's definitely no Jonah, so without me, there's no commentary today. So I'm afraid you're stuck with me today. So let's hope it's a good one at least, and you guys all have fun watching this. So we're going to start the formation lap in a second, and we're seeing obviously there's the grid. So I'll give you a quick rundown in a second before we start, but. Obviously, let's just check what tyres everyone's on. I suspect they'll all be on the same. Let's have a look. It's the full wets as was correctly predicted. But is anyone on different tyres? No, they've all gone for the wet tyres. Which is... Oh, and you're predicting... Waitsy first, Finley second, and Mango third. Interesting. I'll do my predictions in a second then. Before the race begins, and I'll give you the rundown on the grid. But let's just... let's fix that up. And we are good. So it's Mango starting first, H. Bosworth in second, Waitsy was starting third with Pryor Tim in 4th. That's the 4 teammates side by side. On row 3, it's in 5th and 6th, it's an all-brawn knockout of BKS and Grunfeld. In 7th and 8th, we've got Big Weir and Lewis, and in 9th and 10th, it's Bradfeld and Milan Massimo. 11th was Kingsholm and 12th is Shopville. 13th is Shugs and 14th is Slay, and that's another Force India lockout, so another lockout for a team on that row. 15th was Lucas Paul. 16th is Apex Finley, my friend and commentator from that qualifying session. 17th is on the unseen team, and 18th on the back of the grid is Janaldi. And my prediction today, because I know you're going to want to hear it from me, Zayak, I'm going to predict, I want to be fun, so unfortunately, Mango, we know you're good, you're not going to be in my top 3, unfortunately. I'm going to predict, let's go for a fun one. I'll predict Kingzone first with Lewis F1 second and Apex Finley making a good recovery to third. H. Bosworth, I'm sorry man, but you know, I'm not predicting you up in the top 3. I know you're going to be mad as well in the comments if you're still there, but I expect you're preparing for the start of the race with the rest of your Bentley boys. Right, so we're heading now towards the grid, and we're gonna obviously watch Mango's perspective of the thing. We're gonna then cut away from the off-board cameras as the drivers are now coming round the final corner to form the grid. A couple of drivers have got disqualified. Lucas Paul and the unsainted. The stewards might wanna take a quick look at that, but it is on the formation map, so we will see. And they're lining up on the grid for the start of the race. Bonus predictions like in the comments. If you get the amount of retirements, you get one of my special championship points. Well, the amount of finishes at least. The last couple of rows of the grid are forming up now for the start of this race. And we're going to head to the 5 red lights in front of us. Five lights on, and we're away for this race in Tuesday Formula 4 at Singapore. Who gets the best launch off the front row? Looks like Mango's got the clear run into turn 1, but behind it's all sorts of chaos as they're 4 wide in some parts of the track. Will they all get through the first couple of corners? It looks like Prix is up the inside of H-Bros. Obviously these two had a crash last week. They're all threading their way through. Will everyone get through? H-Bros seems to have lost 2 positions and exit in the first corner. And he drops down 2 places to 4th from 2nd, but they're still fighting, and he's actually got Waitsy back as now riding on board with Mango. Down towards the next corner, and Grunfeld's right alongside Waitsy here, and he's going to try and go round the outside. Just goes off the curb, and yep, there's no space there, and he loses the position. Finley has already made an unbelievable start, up to 9th. We'll have to check how many places that is in a second, but has anyone dropped a lot of positions on the first lap? We'll see. As in the wet, is that JD Bradford going slowly? Yes, he appears to potentially hit the wall. He's going very slowly indeed, and it's not been a good start for the Bentley. That as JD Bradford gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with SSL Mango. That is a bit confusing because they started a very far distance apart, but we will see. As I'm going to go check and see how many stops, how many positions they've made up. And an unbelievable 7 positions for Apex Finley. He's on an absolute charge through the field here. I'm actually going to ride on board with him for a second here. And see how he's doing. There's a yellow flag, and is that Unsainted getting caught up at the back there? Yeah, he's in the wall. Oh, and he's destroyed the whole of his front wing. He managed to get going, but he's going to have to come back to it. And the virtual safety car has been deployed for that incident. So, as we'll catch our breath after that breathtaking start, hopefully he's going to be able to limp back to the pits. Obviously, Apex, what a start by him. As well as he was up from 16th on the grid, that is nicely impressive. But up front, Mango held the lead, and he's got a very, very large margin up front. But Pryor was able to jump H-Buzzer into second. And we're still under VSC here. So, I've got to say, it's not been a good start for Bentley. Obviously, Bradford falling down, but they're still got H-Buzzer. Force India have not made a lot of progress. They've only been outscored by Bentley with only H-Buzzer for Bentley and Big Wave for Force India inside the top 10. So, I think that's going to be making the constructors more exciting. But behind them, Ford and the constructors, which is, you know, they're going to be really happy with this because they've got on 2nd and 4th, and this could really make the constructors quite interesting at finishes like this. Can Ford capitalise on a good qualifying result again? The back 2 drivers are coming into the pits, but obviously we're currently riding off board now as we follow the lead around, and then prior tip. I expect the VSC will be ending any second now. And there it goes, it's coming into the pit, it's coming off track, sorry, not into the pit, that's the full safety car. And immediately, we're back racing again. It's only close battles going on. Yes, Apex Finley appears to be all over the back of Big Wheel. He's literally pushing him almost through this set of corners, and we're going to ride on board briefly with him right now. Down towards the hairpin. Can he keep the car under control? I had a wet race on Singapore a couple of weeks ago and was taken out at that very corner. As there's a bit of contact in the background there. Was that shot we like? I could hear in the background making contact. I think I've lost a little bit of time. But no yellow flags for the moment. But will it dry out throughout the race? H-Buzzer already seems to be over the back of Pryor as well, but we're going to focus on Apex here, as I said we would. With him closing up, he's now falling a little bit further back, but you think he's just setting up the move. He's made a lot of positions on the airplane lap, and Jordan obviously going to be happy with that. And Lewis is also quite close to the back of the cast, but really they're all in a train from 5th downwards here. And like I said, H-Bosworth climbing over the back of Prix as well. There's Mango sets fast as flat. Big Wheel's got a little bit screwy there out of that corner. And as we get to the last corner, Apex is trying to get on the power and activate his turn on his ERS towards turn 1, but he's not quite close enough to make a move here. And further back, I'm not seeing anyone really setting up any moves at the moment. It's quite a difficult one to overtake on, obviously. Potentially Ginaldi could be right over the back of Lucas Paul, and that, when Lucas Paul's car is on an AI mode, and that AI is causing absolute havoc here for Ginaldi. He cannot get past, and Flea is all bunched up to the back of it now. As Big Wheel is now all over the back of Lewis, so much action as Big Wheel goes on the inside of Lewis. And this could open the door for Apex if one of these two comes off slightly worse here as they run side by side into the next corner. Just the inch of the good space, great racecraft here. Lewis tries to stick it around the outside and there's just enough space and they've just about held it together side by side and will be able to keep it clean to the next couple of corners. Lewis has pinched him to the inside. Big Wheel stays on the outside. Oh, and Apex is right all over the back of it. Lewis loses the back end of the car. As that's Flea out. Flea is DNS, and is that going to be a safety car potentially? Virtual safety car again. The second time we've had one of those, and they've just not held their positions, but it was all getting a bit messy up there. We're going to a full safety car. And what are we thinking in the comments at the start of the race? Has this been out of your thought? What are we thinking about Apex's great start, Zayek? I know you're in there. So as for the championship, well, I'm going to say this is it. Big Way is only getting a couple of points out of today's race. Obviously, points are awarded on to 15th place for this day's racing, but it's, you know, the big points are really scored at the top end of the top 10. That's kind of where the Fords are. So obviously, I've had a good day for Ford, a good day for Braun at the moment as it stands as well, which I'm sure Zayek will be happy about in the comments. But we're starting a virtual safety car here. But in terms of the drivers, neither of the top two really make any impression. So we're just going to go quickly to the standings for Thursday. I think we're going to be back to racing in a second. Waitsy currently holds third in the drivers, and he is in fourth in this race. As Apex gets a good restart there. Oh, when he hit a big wheel spins with Lewis. Oh, when Apex has been collected, as you know, he's just about avoided it. It's been absolute chaos. King's Aim swerves around him. Will Shug's life get through? Yes. Shug's life gets through, but it's all sorts of chaos going on there. I didn't quite see what happened. Obviously, I've got footage. Big Wheel staying out of the way as they come back onto the track. Lucas Paul comes through, and now Big Wheel's finally able to rejoin. But that is a disaster for Force India. I'm not sure what happened there. Is that Milan that's made contact? Milan seems to be losing a lot of positions. Could he have wing damage potentially? But wait, he can't know what's there in Prix fourth in standings, and both those two, and as well as H. Bosworth, who was fifth, is running third, are running well up the order in today's race. So they could be on for a big haul of points in this Drivers' Championship. The gap's spread out at the back front. That's the smallest gap I can see, other than Finley over the back of Shotby, like he's H. Bosworth over the back of Prix. So we're just going to watch that battle. Right now, as Mango, he's pulled a 5-second gap with 2 virtual safety car periods in 3.5 laps. That is seriously impressive, and it's looking quite daunting almost. It's going to have to be a safety car to close that back gap up, I think. And obviously strategy could play a part, but Apex Finley is going to be hoping he can get his way to the front as he's now close to making a move, so we're just going to cut to him quite quickly as Shotby Light goes under the, well, through the tunnel. I'm not quite sure on the exact name of that. There's another yellow flag in sector 3. Could anyone be out from this? Not quite able to see if that is. And Apex has made a fantastic move there. What a move. Lewis now sets fast stops. Is the track getting quicker because he's beaten Mango's time? I'm not sure, but Shotby Light seems to have got damage because he's coming to the pits, or perhaps he's going into conditions. We'll see. Shotby coming to the pits is getting a wing change. Yes, he is getting a wing change, which obviously it's not intense. I didn't think it was. Cohenfeld's all over the back of his teammate here as well. And there's another yellow flag. Is that the Unsainted very far back in the wall? I think it could be. Gonna stick with Grunfeld now though. H-Brother seems to have lost a little bit of time off the back of Pride. Mango could have made a mistake there because that gap is coming down quite significantly now. And has Mango potentially got some wing damage? That gap is dropping substantially. It's now 2.9 seconds, and we're gonna have to go on board with Mango, I think, to check this out. Has Mango picked up any damage here, or is Pride just in the zone? That looks quite untidy, but you never know with the wets, but he must have wing damage. He's losing a lot of time there. Is the Force Indias are in a side-by-side battle in the middle sector. King's stays in front of Shug's Live, and they're quite a bit back off the arc of Apex, but now he's similarly far back of his teammate Lewis. But Mango, what has happened here? He's losing so much time. He has to have damage. Is there any damage to any part of this car? I can't see. Where is the gap gone now? He appears to have both sides of his front wing, unless I cannot see. But he's clearly got some kind of damage. Is it floor? I'm not sure. There's a yellow flag further back on this. That's Shug's Life. Shug's Life dropping down 2 positions. Shug's Life. Oh, he's in the middle of the wall. Oh, he's lost his entire front wing, and that's a full safety car. And that could save Mango. But Mango has not come into the pit, so why has Mango lost so much time? He has not got damage. I'm not sure. As H. Bosworth dives into the pits, has these guys got damage, or is it interconditions? Or has the track just really changed? Is that Inter I just saw there? Intermediate tyres. Interesting, there's a split strategy going on here with the field. The front three have stayed out, but everyone behind has come in to say, shot me live, gets the penalty for speeding the virtual safety car. Is everyone else staying out? Lucas Paul comes in. Everyone on the top three are coming in, and they've caught the safety car because of everyone else. I'm not sure why Mango didn't come in. He was losing a lot of time to Priory, and I'm wondering if it was the tyres now, but Priory was clearly not affected in the same way. But everyone seems to be coming into the hits, and the tyres have really changed around us. We're gonna hear from perhaps Zayak in the comments. Have you got any insight into what might be happening here? I know you're usually racing Thursdays, so what can you tell me about what you think might be happening here? And Arthur Plentix first Priory. Well, that's looking like a prediction at them. He's in second. He could be onto that position. I'm afraid I'm not sure if you're in the Discord or not, but wherever you are, good prediction. We'll see what happens, or maybe we're gonna miss friends. But this is really interesting now. H. Bosworth in second, in fourth even, is going to be potentially taking the lead if the intermediates are significantly faster than the wets. And there's not a lot of standing water. It seems to be disappearing, so I think these guys have made a brilliant call here. And Mango, has he thrown away his chance at winning this race? Will they come into pits? Will they stick it out? I was surprised when there was safety car and I saw them all coming in, the front three didn't come in. I'm not sure why Mango lost so much time. But this is really safe for like Shug's Life who got wing damage not to come in. And those who dropped off the back as well. They've all really been safe. The only one who's been under is shot me like with that drive through. And are they gonna come in? Yes! Mango comes into the pit. Priory comes into the pit. Waitsy stays out on the wet tyres. Now how many positions are these two going to lose? We're seeing them trundle down the pit lane now, changing their tyres. Mango changes his in the pits. Oh, and he has got wing damage. I said he had wing damage, and yes, he has got wing damage. It was both the tyres and most likely the wing damage because they were all facing the same conditions. And Priory emerges out onto the track in that big raggle of cars. He's in 7th. Will Kingston beat out Mango? Yes. Will Gennari beat out Mango? No. So, they've emerged in Priory in 7th, Mango in 9th. And this has really mixed up the order here. Because a lot of the people I thought were running the world who were fairly happy in the championship have now lost their advantage. And we've now got some other people that are running hard in the championship gone up. Zai, I think maybe in a second tracking he doesn't look like damage, or maybe even hitting wets due to crossover period. Absolutely right, but we did know he has now got wing damage, we have seen that. He did change his wing in the pits, so that is cost a few positions there. Obviously, I think he would have still come out behind Apex at probably in front of Pryor. Well, he would have come out in front of Pryor, so he's lost 2 positions off where he would have been 7th. We're still on the safety car here, and waiting for the rest of the field to bunch up. The Unsainted's got quite a long way to catch up, but the rest of them are fairly close and will follow the catch by the end of the lap. So we might be here for another one if it waits for the Unsainted to catch up as well. So, Waitsy out on the wet still. But we haven't actually seen the Wets versus the Inters because they were never out on track at the same time. Well, I think when the Unsainted come in, but he was a very long way behind. So are the Wets still going to be competitive here with the Inters at the start? Because Waitsy's made a bit of a gamble staying out here, I think. There is a little bit of standing water, but it's mostly gone now, and that suggests to me it's potentially Inter conditions. So could Waitsy have made the wrong call here staying out? Maybe he could have cut his losses and caught behind, I think it would have been his teammate prior to, he probably would have been in front of Kingsley and Mango still, maybe in around that place, but instead, if he gets this wrong, he could drop all the way to the back. So will he come into the pits? Will he? Well, he does dive into the pits, and he's clearly got too dry for the wet tyre, and H. Bosworth has taken the lead in the Grand Prix for Bentley. What a result, and wow. And it's currently H. Bosworth, BKS and Lewis, the top 3. Gruenfeld and Apex Finley. Apex Finley up a humongous one. I believe he started 16th. That's 11 places he made up in 8 laps. Partially to strategy and partially to that incredible opening lap where he made up 7 positions. Yes, Finley is up to P5, and you know, I think he's happy with that. We're just going to look at who else made up positions, sorry. Yeah, and Lewis up 5. Ginaldi up 9 though as well. Kingsham's up 4, and so is Lucas Paul. As for the losers, Waitsy, that's really not helped him out. Unsafety's also DNF'd out on track now, so we'll have to wait for him to catch up as well. Waitsy down 12, Bradfeld down 7, Mango down 7, and Milan down 4, and obviously they go down 3. Those are the big losers here in this race, and obviously Prime is technically what I would consider to be a big loser, as he made it out to 2nd position in this race, and he was on to take 1st, potentially with Mango, with that bad, with having wing damage, but Mango with that bad call to stay out. I think they had time, maybe. It was very close. If they didn't, they were coming across the line. As I checked that themselves, I think they would have had time. Prior not coming into the pits has completely cost them. And with all those behind, with the benefit of doubt like H. Bosworth coming for Inters, I've been able to jump ahead. So, we're now going to, I think it's going to be at the end of this lap, on lap 8 of 31. 5 people currently watching. Chat and safety car is in this lap. So, H. Bosworth is going to get us back underway. He's taking the lead off the Grand Prix at the start. Will he be able to warm those tyres out adequately? He's the leader. He has control of the pack until the restart. And is he going to be able to hold it? We're going to ride on board with him and see how he gets the power down, I think, yeah. Obviously they've all saved up their ARS up to full on ways, and all the drivers have now caught up to the back. You can see Bradford at the back there. So, good day so far for Braun and Bentley and Jordan. I would say a bad day for Ford and probably for Force India as well. Yes, there is barely anyone penalties, which is surprising considering the invalidations, but we'll see. It is in the wet, so we'll see what happens. H. Bosworth is going to get us underway here. He's weaving, getting the temperature into his tyres. Is it going to get a smooth restart here? 60 miles an hour he's going that. He's going to have to get the power down here through the final corner. He launches the car. What's going on further back though? Lewis has jumped up, but they're almost 3 wide into turn 1. Apex down the inside. Apex side by side with BKS. That control with aggression working up well, but he makes contact. Will he be able to hold onto the car? Yes, he will. And will everyone survive? Just about. And the Apex and Lewis have made their way up into 2nd and 3rd, but they're going to the corner side by side. BKS and Apex, and he's got the position Apex has. And I think Milan's lost one to Wait as well, but there's fighting further back, and some of the gaps of this fit, unfortunately, is that Milan? Yeah, Milan's fallen quite far back as well. Greenfelt down the inside of Prix tip here. Into second corner as Milan retired from the session on track. Will that be a safety car? I don't think it will. Everyone's passed there. Right number with Mango. Now Mango's looking to fight his way back to the field, remember. I think he was he 9th on the restart or 8th? I can't quite remember exactly where, but Greenfelt lets him through, or yet still on Greenfelt, I'm not sure. He's got 5 more positions to make up to get to the lead of the race, but H-Boss has already got a bit of a margin at the top. But Mango's looking racy here. I'm not going to go back to the tyre situation and check for later on, or it's definitely all inters now. But for later on, might be beneficial. The shot be light drops down to the back as well, and he gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help. He's also got a drive through, which I don't think he's served yet. He may have done, I haven't actually checked, but I don't think he would have done, because he probably would have been last on the last lap of the restart. Mango losing the car a little bit to the last corner there, but H. Bosworth comes across the line. Fastest lap obviously on the intermediates, despite it being a restart. And Finley's all over the back of Lewis. Could there be a tactical swap here from Jordan? If Lewis has got more, Apex got more pace to chase after H. Bosworth, will he go for it? Is King saying massive damage as he's into the pit, unless they're coming in for drives, but I highly doubt it. It looks still very damp out on track. There are 3 drivers in, but I suspect none of them are for drives, but we'll see. No, it's all for intermediates, they must have had damage. Mango now. He's eyeing up prior to in front. Is he going to go for a move? No, he's not. He's backing out, and BKS a little bit wide further up in front, as you saw. Finley is still all over the back of Lewis though, and will there be a tactical Jordan swap, as I said? If Finley's got the pace, will they let him chase at H. Bosworth? Who knows? Meanwhile, Mango, we're still watching him anyways. He's pressurising prior to, he's stayed within about 3 or 4 tenths the whole lap, but he's been unable to make a move as yet. Oh, and we're going to cut to Apex, and Apex is almost going to back of his teammate there. The LFR, Shug's life is out of the session. And could that be a safety car? It could be a safety car, it is a safety car. Oh, and Lucas Paul very close, hitting the back of him there. I think the car will have been, I think they'll have had advance notice of that by the time they're on, but will anyone do anything here? Because the track must have drive from wets to intermediates. Will it drive from intermediates to dries? Could we have a visitor in the commentary box? I'm not sure, but we'll see. And we do have a visitor in the commentary box. It's Shug's live. Shugs, what can you tell us about that retirement?
Tried to put power down too early, and the car just completely spun. There was no way to control it.
That is unfortunate, and it's not good news for your Force India team either. 8th is the highest
really
point on him. Now, if you had any insight from on the team comms, what they've been saying to each other?
These conditions, they're the worst conditions to race in this environment and on this track.
Absolutely. And does the forecast predict dries at any point? That's a question from one of our viewers, Zayak.
So we're hearing about 10 more minutes of rain, so it's about 5 laps time, I'd say. Interesting.
Obviously there's 2 in your team out now. Obviously King's Aim is in 13th, so, you know, points were one down to 15th, so that's a couple on big wins in 8th, but, you know, H was just winning the race, so are you surprised by that?
I mean, no one really expects it from him. We've got guys like Mango in there. We've got Apex Finley, who's won previous races. We've seen Harry win a race, but it wasn't wet.
No, we have seen him. He won at Portugal, obviously. He has won on Tuesday as well. I believe that was at Baku, 8-stop win. That was mad. I can't believe he did that. But and that was right at the end as well. He has got something in wet conditions, clearly, but it was a bit chaotic. Did you notice the top 3 didn't come in on the original first safety car on the first lap, and that caught them out a bit because they all dropped positions.
Well, I saw that and thought maybe I'd be able to pick up a few positions, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it really wasn't, because obviously those three stayed out, and the next lap everyone but Waitsy came and come in by then, and he stayed out, and then he had to come in the next lap. It's clearly into conditions at this point in time, not wet anymore, but I mean, Mango actually had damage, so that safety car was actually quite timely for him, because if not, he was going to have to pit. He lost 5 seconds in one lap to Priotiv, so, you know, it was quite severe.
Well, watching Mango put in his laps while it was getting slightly wetter in qualifying, you could see him bouncing off the walls a little bit. You could say he was like a pinball.
Yeah, I did note on that in the commentary that he has the speed, but does he have the consistency, as H. Rosworth loses the back end a little bit there. A little bit of a drift. Don't want to be doing that while you're in control of the race.
No, you definitely don't, but we saw Harry picked up a bit of a gap between the safety cars, and I think he can do it again.
Yeah, he got a good launch actually on the restart. It was a clean launch I saw on the restart, and obviously the Jordans were picking off the bronze behind in front, so that's why H. Rosworth was able to pick up that a bit of a gap, I would say, and then obviously Apex has been on else past Lewis. We've seen Mango trying to fight his way up. Do you think Mango's going to be able to recover this from where he is?
Well, from the experience in the car earlier, in Force India's radio was full of worrying about getting tyre temps up, so I think that's the biggest issue that they're going to be facing on this track. Very difficult to be getting tyre temperatures up on those intermediate tyres, so if he can keep those tyre temps up, I think he might have a shot.
Interesting. And have you got any, as I want to say, if you got any race predictions? It's obviously mid-race predictions, but who do you think could win this one?
Well, it can all change once we go to the dry conditions. We can see. Well, Mango, he's probably our clear favourite to win with the pace he had in qualifying. You'd probably expect him to come out and win this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you definitely would. But Apex, a bit of an unknown quantity. That early retirement in qualifying, really, I think, hiding his pace almost, because he shot up 7 positions on the opening lap, which I thought was quite incredible to make up so many.
I think many drivers going into that first turn on that first lap were going very cautiously. The spray was thick. You couldn't see the braking zones. You couldn't see other cars in front. But Apex just kind of throws caution into the wind and just goes straight for the win.
He promised controlled aggression. I think we certainly got it from him when he was able to pick up those positions. Can he now pick off Lewis, because he's been harassing him on the restart? I bet they've been very close. He's been about 3 or 4 tenths between them. If they pick him off, maybe he can go for H. Bosworth and take the lead. I think he might need that with Mango charging behind.
We're gonna need, if Harry wants to win, he's gonna need someone there that can hold Mango back, isn't he?
He absolutely is, and obviously Lewis, they were in a fight on Tuesday to see if they could finish in, well, I think it was 4th on Tuesday, overall.
I think it was overall 4th, I think it was.
Yep, they were trying to fight 4th overall. Lewis retired, H. Rosworth came out on top. Will Lewis hold Apex up? Obviously his teammate, he won't be wanting to hold him up too much. Apex is clearly quicker, then they might let each other through, but the safety car is in this lap.
It's going to be interesting to see if he goes at the same time as he did last time as well, isn't it?
It is.
Sticks to that same strategy.
I think it went well last time, because it caught the rest of them off guard, but I'm not sure it'll catch them all off guard again this time.
You can see the Jordans trying to push their way up against him, can't you?
Yeah, that was like the Max Verstappen strategy in real life, first couple of races of the season, but we're going to see now. Ooh, he's going towards the final corner, he's going to go late again, he floors it, but this time it's not as good as a restart. It is still okay though, and Mango's had a shocking restart there. He's dropped down to 7th, he took some positions, but I think he maybe made an overtake before the flag as BKS gets tagged by Grunfeld. And they're going to go 3 wide into the next corner potentially. Mango's down another position. This is not the restart he wanted.
And we saw Shockby got this drive-through penalty. Is that still the case? No, it's not. He must have served it.
I think he did serve it at some point. I'm not quite sure when that happened. I must have missed it and thingy. He just have a 3-second time penalty, I believe. Waitsy and Priotiv battling up ahead, the teammates. Priotiv cuts back in front. Mango with an audacious move down the inside, but he hits Priotiv. Will they have damage? Priotiv just keeps it out of the wall, so does Mango, but that was audacious. And it's not come off. He's dropped behind Waitsy again, but he's attacking Waitsy again.
He's going to keep pushing on Waitsy to force Waitsy to make a mistake and hopefully just get an easy position.
He needs that, I think, because he almost made the move on Waitsy before, but he hit the back of Prix and it caused him to have to back off a little bit. But as we see Harry, he's pulled that gap up front again.
This man is great in wet conditions, isn't he?
He's a lot different to me as well from a teammate from this year. I am abysmal in wet conditions, to say the least. The place where I was actually good was Austria this season, where I didn't do a pit stop, or I wouldn't have done if it hadn't been a late safety car for most of the race. Well, actually, I didn't make a pit stop.
Late safety car, you got that puncture, didn't you?
Yeah, well, there wasn't even a late safety. Well, there was safety cars, but it was in the middle of the race. I got a puncture, you're right. It was very costly, but Harry is very good in the wet, clearly. I've not seen this from him before, but he's really dominating. He's pulling the gap.
Almost 2 seconds a gap there.
And this is similar to what we saw in the last restart. If he can pull a gap before the dries, he could really be on for something here.
That fastest lap of the race is what you want to be seeing, isn't it?
And that shows the evolution of the track, though, because that was on a restart that when you expect it to be slightly slower because of how late he went towards the line, potentially. So, with colder tyres as well, so I think that's really, really impressive, to be honest. I think it shows the track, though. It is improving. We're not far off dries, I don't think. You know, when it stops raining, it might take many laps and it might be in dries. By maybe lap 20, could we see dries here? If it dries up?
I think once DRS is enabled and the stewards allow that, I think that's when we're really going to see most of the grid diving in for that pit stop for those probably medium tyres.
Yeah.
I think they'll want to be going to the end. I don't think anyone will want to do another stop with softs.
No, and the hards, as we know around this track, not the best tyre, are they? The mediums
definitely not.
The medium is the optimal tyre on this track, I would say, in terms of how long it lasts on the pace. So, you know, I can't remember my strategy when we did Singapore around here, but I remember I was in like third and got taken out with like 2 laps to go. That was unfortunate. You did quite well there, Shugs, if I remember correctly.
From what I remember, me and you both underfueled by about 2 laps, and it almost didn't pay off for us.
That's absolutely right. I wonder if anyone's taken our words as well. Maybe that's why Harry's so fast.
We've got an incident.
Ooh.
And BKS is round.
And he's lost all of his front wings.
He's got no wing left. He will be annoyed, and he will have to pit again.
Maybe he's going to cause a safety car. If he stays out on track long enough, he might, but I don't think he will.
There's no safety car there, but he has no wing. It's going to be very difficult getting around these last few corners to the pit lane. It's just, sometimes it can feel better in the wet conditions without a wing, because you get just a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it, you get a little bit more traction somehow.
That is honestly something that I did not really pick up on until now, but yes, now you mention it, I actually do think in the wet, how in damage, it doesn't actually feel, you know, that bad as prior to gets fastest lap. So we're seeing who's got the pace here now, but Mango's still bunched up behind Waitsy. It's been about 4/10 for most of this lap, I think. It certainly is now, but he still can't make the move.
But Harry is 2.5 seconds in front of Lewis. That's an impressive gap to pull.
Yeah, and Apex is harassing Lewis trying to make this move, but he can't pull it off. I noticed in Sector 1 though, a lot of that seemed to be dry up until this Raffles Boulevard straight.
Sector 1 was always the driest of the sectors, I think. It was always really bad in Sector 2 and 3. Lightens up in the end of Sector 3, but it's still quite wet.
Yeah, I think that whole right side of the track on the full track map is the more dry part, and then we get into the more damp part here. This bit doesn't actually look too bad. I'm not seeing that much spray here either. It's really the middle of the track maybe that's the most horrific part right now from what we're seeing. I don't think
Go ahead.
No, I'm thinking we're not many laps away from dries here, and that could be quite interesting.
I think once they do go to dries, there will be small patches here and there, probably in the start of Sector 2 and the middle of Sector 3, where these drivers will struggle just finding the traction.
Yeah, we're seeing the spray here again. Some parts of this track are now almost dry, and you could even risk getting onto the dries, but is this part of the track too wet to go onto the dries? I would suggest so. Or maybe in 2 or 3 laps though, it might be dry enough that some of them choose to come in. Mango certainly wants to get an undercut, I would have thought. He's currently bunched up behind.
They'll definitely try and see if he can find a gap for the undercut for sure.
There's not really a lot of battles out on track other than that one for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and Mango pushing as well.
No, we've seen Harry's gaining almost 3 seconds gap there. I have not seen anything like this from him.
No, I think the only one who on his similar pace to him is Pryor, but now Pryor's got caught on the back of the pack too. Yeah.
We may see a small train forming as Lewis gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits extending.
Costly, because this is the one way you can get a safety car, and if it bunches it up, you can lose a lot of positions with a time penalty here.
Definitely.
Well, I do think time penalties are potentially worse in the dry here than the wet, maybe. People are being more cautious in the wet, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I can say that when you're driving on this track in these conditions, you are going as carefully as you can. I compare it to driving in the wet at Monaco. You just take it so carefully. You don't want to hit any walls.
Oh, and Lewis, he was very close to touching the wall there. It seemed like much closer than Apex was, certainly. And Apex seemed to close a bit, so I'm guessing he ran a little bit wide there. But there's still no place to make this overtaken. They're really getting bunched up now, you know.
They really are.
Lewis is really allowing his rival from Tuesday of this week. Oh, and Mango gets a penalty.
I just saw that. He went to go for a move on Waitsy, but just cut the corner enough there to get the penalty.
Yeah, Mango is pushing for this, isn't he? He really needs to make that overtake. Because if he makes that overtake, he's pushed himself all the way up to the back. He can probably pass all the way up to the back of this train, which is getting sick on the back of this train, and then it's quite easy to get an undercut by one lap. Obviously,
Definitely.
Harry might be a bit too far in front if he's got a little bit of a gap, and he's still extending that by a couple of tenths this lap, I think. But they can't make moves. They're really struggling. But this race, I think this race will be won by a gamble onto dries. But who's going to make that gamble?
I feel like this track
Is that Harry into the pit? DRS enabled.
DRS enabled. Harry into the pits. Is that? Yeah.
Oh,
Harry's
time,
pitted.
second time penalty.
No. Oh, is he going to serve that now, or is it going to bite him back later?
No, I don't think you serve it if you get it on the way into the pit, so it's going to bite him back later, I think.
No, it's going to bite him back later. He's going to really regret that one. As Lewis takes the lead as his Grand Prix, does not pit. Him, Gronfeld and Waitsy staying out.
Waitsy again staying out. Waitsy stayed out last on the last restart as well on the wets, and that didn't work out. Will this work out for him this time?
I can't say it will.
The only thing that could happen is a safety car if it's still a little bit too wet for the rest of them and they slide off, potentially. But that's really going to not be helpful for Harry, and because of that, Apex is going to be in second and he's within the gap to Harry. He's really going to be kicking himself over that 5-second time penalty.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that car, just seeing the reaction from him.
He's going to be so disappointed with that, I would have thought. And oh, well, Lewis touches the wall there as well. That's not helping.
And he's got Gronfeld hot on his tail there. He's really going to try and push.
Oh, well, he's sliding all over the place as well, though. I think it definitely dries, but could he get this bit's a little bit wetter, so maybe this could help him out a bit. But it's just always end up there. Always almost hits the wall. It's so close.
Could it be damage causing this understeer, or is it just what's happening with the intermediate tyres now it's gone dry?
Gronfeld seems to be handling it a little bit better, but still, I think you might be right about the dries and the inters. I'm not sure. These guys really need a safety car, but they're not getting one at the moment. I think they're going to have to pick up their losses and come in here.
He's going to be hitting this lap surely. Yep, these two drivers in.
And Waitsy follows suit into the pits. And everyone is now onto the dry tyres.
Oh, Lewis gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well.
Not good for the two leaders before it was. Once they pit, I imagine Lewis will be behind his teammate. Yeah, he's got to take a wing change as well. We were right, damage, you were right.
Oh.
Tibbles gets a penalty as well, though. Now this is interesting, because as it stands, is that Manga 1-3 Pryor on 3, H Buzzworth on 5, so Apex will be taking the win as it stands.
Apex will take the win, and if H Bosworth can extend the gap to third, he could take second. But I know that Mango's going to be trying to push as hard as he can to close that gap up.
Yeah, and could Big Rear be on for third as well, though, because he's close to those two in front with 3-second time penalties.
I know, listening to him earlier, he's really not been enjoying these wet conditions. He's been really praying and really hoping for a dry track.
Interesting, so it's a bit of a tight battle for 7th, 8th and 9th here.
Gronfeld really pushing.
Oh, Gennadi's going for a move.
Gennadi just steams past him. There's a little bit of contact.
They've all just
but the rest of it is made clean.
Oh, and Big Weird's got past Mango. What's happened there? That is a surprise. Mango is...
He's jumped straight into fourth.
Yeah, Mango's using stopper on the drive. Has he picked up damage again? That he's gone quite wide there on the entry. I'm wondering if there could be damage on this car.
There's definitely got to be damage there with that contact in the wall.
And that is bad news for Mango. The person who looked so dominant in qualifying is not looking so good anymore. And he comes
into pit.
And that is absolutely, you know, he had the pace. He's clearly the fastest driver today on the drives, but he just, when he gets a 5-second time penalty as well. And
he's going to be kicking himself even more now, isn't he?
And he retires in the pits.
As a favourite to win now, retiring in the pits, who do you think's going to win now?
Oh, well, I didn't predict him because I thought it was too predictable before the race, which is good. I can't remember who I did predict now even. I believe I may have predicted, I can't remember. I think Lewis and Apex were both on my podium at one point. I can't remember who the other one was.
Apex is closing this gap to H. Bosworth though.
Yeah.
This gap is closing fast.
And with that, the gap between H. Bosworth and Pryor Tibbs coming on, and Pryor Tibbs 3-second time penalty, Matt Island's had H. Bosworth 5. So, you know, H. Bosworth, without the 5-second time penalty, H. Bosworth could be looking good for second or first there, but he's not looking so good with it anymore.
Well, we've seen a little bit of a rivalry between H. Bosworth and Pryor Tibb in Abu Dhabi last week, I think it was, or the week before.
No, last week, you're right.
Last week. And they were both fighting for P3, and a small bit of contact took them both out of the race. Yeah,
exactly, but... I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but... I mean, if you look at the overtake situation as well, H. Bosworth's saving is better than anyone. He's very good at saving, for sure, but...
He is.
He's going to want to not make a move on him, that's for sure as well. So you might want to be safe in that, I suppose, for when they get closer. I mean, that's helping them close the gap a little bit, obviously. They've obviously potentially got more pace to close it down even more, but, you know, he needs that overtake.
Do we think H. Bosworth's using a dry or wet setup? Because I know there's a few drivers I know that will be using a wet setup because they thought there'd be a lot more rain.
I think H. Bosworth could be on for using a wet setup. He was unstoppable, wasn't he, on the restart?
He was.
Yeah, that's not good if that's the case. And Pryor's now in the DRS of Apex as well next time round. Interesting, there aren't any crashes in the dry yet. I thought we would see one, to be honest. It's quite one where he used to hit the wall, but maybe even get something bigger. But no one really in the dry yet because of the safety car or anything?
Maybe. Lewis has just got DRS on Jay Bradfield trying to push for an overtake, but it's still not close enough to make that dive down the inside.
Yeah, staying out a bit longer has not helped Lewis either, has it? Instructional positions. And the top three have all now got a DRS on each other, and H. Bosworth currently drop just in front of Big Weary. If he was now, I think those top four have really got a bit further away. Obviously the top three are even further away, but Shopby Light's quite a long way behind Big Weir.
Yeah, if Big Weir can just catch this small group there, I think he's set for a good race. He'll be sticking in the DRS and could be fighting for a win here.
Yeah, there's a move going on between Vickers and Lucas Paul here right at the back of the field that I've just caught.
Oh, you've got King's Home trying to push a move on Lewis as well.
Yeah, I'm watching these two. Into the almost impossible place to pass of Sector 3, I would say. It's very hard to pull off a move here.
You've got to get very lucky to pass someone around here. It's very difficult.
Oh, but he's going to try it, you know.
He's looked for it, but he's stayed behind. Maybe looking to get the DRS.
Oh, well, this has got damage, I think. Is he into the pit? Yes, he is.
But Kingston will have DRS to try and catch up the rest of the field as well.
Yeah, and which teams can you say are going to be really happy with their performance today?
Which teams? Oh, well, I think Brawn were looking strong. They were looking very strong at the start. We saw them in qualifying. In practice, they topped the leaderboard completely. I think Ford are looking great. They've got 3 drivers in the top 10 and one in 13th. They've still got all their drivers going. They've got to be happy with that.
Interesting, and you know, Force India are leading the constructors, but that gap is probably going to come down today with Ford's strong performance.
It could do. It could become a very tight race for the constructors' championship.
How are you feeling about that? And just so I can get a bit of an exclusive interview while you're here.
Well, I'm taking an early holiday, so I'm really hoping that Force India can really keep a hold of that constructors' gap. But I'm relying on a team that's very strong in some tracks and we could say not very strong in others.
Obviously you've got the top two in the championship going into this race as well, and you picked up a podium last week, and then you've also got Lee, unfortunately, a DNF here. Not good for him. But
it's really not.
No, it's really not, is it? But he's going to be looking to bounce back and get some more points, and yeah, you know, if you keep working together well, you know, maybe you can maintain that margin as the Fords are fighting here.
They are. Well, it could be team orders they're putting into play here.
True, but they've got a bit of a gap to make up, that's for sure.
Well, we've seen Shopbelight's got 6 seconds of time penalties, and Weeks he's not got a penalty at all. It could just be putting that faster driver with the less penalties in front just to get that big gain of points.
Absolutely, that's some good insight now. And we've got Apex now really close to the back of Harry as well now. Oh, we touched the wall now.
They're going to be... But Apex is going to have DRS coming out of this corner. And he's really going to push now. He really wants this win.
And it would be impressive from 16th to take the win.
That would make him my driver of the day.
That would make him. That would also make him my driver of the day. I think we have to go with someone different. At the moment, my driver of the day is H. Bosworth. Despite his pit lane thing, he's driving in the wet with Prix, and I know he's probably got a wet setup on, but he's able to pull the gap, and it's been quite impressive so far.
Yeah, we've said we haven't seen anything like it from him, but he's just excelled in the wet conditions there. He pulled a 3-second gap, but unluckily just took that 5-second penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's having from a mistake from Apex was prior to his pitting damage, possibly.
I'll keep an eye on that one.
You keep an eye on that one. I'll watch up front. You can pass on any info you get.
It looks like it is front wing damage, and yes, they will be changing his wing. He's really going to hate himself after that one, I'd say, as he drops down at least 2 positions.
Yeah, he had a top 4 in there, guaranteed, but it's all gone a bit haywire.
And Shopby like pits as well, again for another wing change.
Not good for Ford. The bad luck curse, we said Ford did well, not anymore.
Commentator's curse, it always happens.
But it is time for my favourite line, the top 5 drivers, 5 different teams. That's my favourite line.
That's what we like to see. It's making the constructors interesting. Drivers' Championship could get more interesting.
As everyone will know, just to me, commentate with Jonah, that is undoubtedly my favourite line, and I will use it whenever I get opportunity, so please don't shout at me for that one. But yeah, Apex is still over the back of him, and he really needs a mistake out of him, I would say, to be able to have a shot at taking this win, because Apex is really sticking with him.
He really is. He might be looking for he could be looking for H. Bosworth to make a mistake, or just keep pulling along with the DRS with him. We've seen Big Weir trying to really catch him as well. He's made overtakes before, but he is using a wet setup.
Amazing, can you confirm that?
I can confirm that. That is an exclusive from the Force India garage.
That is very interesting to know, and that like one of the first times I've ever had that kind of insight on one of these streams, so that's really interesting to hear about what might be going through the mind of Big Weir. And obviously he's currently actually got the gap to H. Bosworth. If H. Bosworth served that 5-second time penalty or applied it, he just sneaked in front of him, so he's actually currently on for P2.
It's an impressive run from him. He spun quite early on in the race. He lost a lot of positions, thought his race was over, but no, he's really fought his way back through to P3 currently, and probably net P2.
Yeah, do you have any details on that actually? Because I saw him, he almost clipped, it was Kingsholm and you were both very close to him when you went past.
I think what really happened, there was a little bit of contact and maybe putting the throttle down a bit too early. It just caused that light spin, and it all went downhill from there, but now it's going straight back up.
Interesting. With that, well, I'd have to say these top three have really pulled a massive gap to the cars behind.
12 seconds. We know it's about a 25-second pit stop around here without a wing change. So I don't think we'll be looking at any other pit stops. I think everyone that's pitted on the dries will be happy with what they're running at the minute. No one's going to be pitting anymore.
Unless they get any damage, of course, which they might want to pit for. But yeah. But can Big Wheel catch up to this? Because obviously H1 seems to be holding back Apex a little bit. Is that gap going down? I think it's come down by about a couple of tenths this lap potentially. Could he catch them before the end?
It's going to be a real ask, and I was with Big Wheel just before this race practicing and finding out the best strategy, as he would say, for science. And I think he was happy with a 2-stop if it was dry completely, but I think the wet race has really thrown that strategy out the window. As that time does come down as well, he's just gained about 3 or 4 tenths on Apex Finley as well.
Apex is stubborn and unable to make the move. They've both got quite a lot of overtake. Big Wheel's got barely any overtake, and that's costing him down the straights. He needs to save that up.
If he can hear me, he needs to listen to me right now and just hold back, reserve the overtake. He'll need it later. Yeah,
even if you can say up to 20%, the amount you lose back down by the straight by not having that 20% buffer is humongous. But look how much he gains in the middle part of the lap, as Apex has actually lost quite a lot of time now lapping one of the back markers.
What is that? That is the back marker of Lucas Poole. I think he may have disconnected and his car is just going
yes,
on its own.
It was the start. It was disconnected car at the start. It was the car that disconnected at the start.
But Apex is a second back now because of that back marker. We're seeing shades of Schumacher and Cosa to Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, that is really going to sting.
Oh, he's really going to kick himself after this race. I feel like we need a post-race interview with this man. I need to know what's going on inside his head.
You know, I can't confirm whether I'll be able to be a post-race interview. I've not had the clearance for the top 3 yet to do interviews. That could be, you know, something we look at in the future. I can't confirm or say anything about that now. We'll have to discuss that maybe. But yeah, I suppose if I'm allowed to, we could have a look at the end race winner. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, focus on the race for now. 3.5 seconds covering them, so Big Wheel is closing in, and
he's closing quickly. He's really pushing that car to the limit.
Is that overtake though? He's don't have no overtake when he catches up.
He's got 1%. And Apex Finley has got 55%.
He's doing a me. He's doing.
He doesn't know how to control it. But Apex is right on the back of Harry still.
Yeah, he's closer than he's ever been for quite a while now, as well, even before the back marker was there. And he's actually going to have a chance, I think, with the DRS down this next straight. He's that close.
Could we see it as Prior Tib makes a move on Kingsholm, but Kingsholm tries to keep the position.
As I'm watching them run down now, I don't know if he's not using overtake though, he's just choosing to sit behind them. But they've both got a load of overtake, roughly about the same, 60 odd %. But Big Wheel, 8%.
8%, oh, it's a shocking one from him, because usually I'd see him barreling past me, probably lapping me at least once. And I don't think I've ever seen him this stressed about a race. It's thrown him completely off.
If you're listening to us, Big Wheel, or any of your teammates, you need to turn down your overtake. You're wasting it all.
No, he won't. He's turned it on. He's turned it on as we've said.
Oh, as Apex takes the lead in turn 1, we completely missed that. I couldn't see the gap.
But Harry's going to keep fighting it. He is going to push for that position back as soon as he can.
But is he going to get it? He's got the overtake to try and make a move here, I think. But so is Apex.
Apex is burning it to try and create that gap. Harry is also using it, DRS and overtake using it at the same time, closing the gap.
Yeah, Big Wheel's going to have to start saving some. He's catching the back of them. Once he gets in the DRS, maybe he'll choose to save a little bit, but he's going to need to save it quickly now. He can't let Apex get away as well, because if Apex gets away, it could all be over.
Looking back down at Prior Tib and Kingsholm, the gap is still like less than 2 tenths now. less than 10th. Priotiv makes the move in the DRS straight. Can he keep the position though? And he does coming out of that corner.
As H. Bosworth, has he got the DRS here? Yes, he has, just about. It's very close. He's nearly out of the window, but he's just managed to get it. Can he now stay with him through the final sector and get the DRS again?
Big Weir is also in the DRS range of these two. He's going to really be fighting this one. He wants the win. He knows him and Finley don't have any penalties, and he's going to be pushing as hard as he can.
He has the pace. He's fine in that wet setup, which I'm surprised about. But does he have the overtake? Because he's really, really lacking overtake here as Harry gets wide out of the final corner again a little bit. And he's right on the back of him now, it's 2/10. And he's down the next straight, he's going to be really in a good position to make this move, I think. Despite the lack of overtake, Harry's just got no grip, he's sliding all over the track now.
Jason is, well, Big Weir is going to be pushing him, almost bump drafting him along this track.
NASCAR-esque.
Yeah, and he makes the move. Can he keep the position into the corner? Easily.
I think Ari's just gonna, no, it probably won't affect his position on penalties anyway at the end of the day. He's probably gonna take home 4 or 3rd if he just doesn't push for anything now. He's unlikely to get anything with 8 seconds of time penalty. So I think he'll
He's
just
got to behave himself, doesn't he?
He absolutely just has to behave himself. Oh, but Price's retired from the session, and that could change everything. Could there be a safety car? Yes, there is!
Yes! Oh my god, it's a last-minute safety car. This is the latest it could be as well.
Oh, and
now it's quite interesting.
Oh, and they're all right.
BKS gets a 5-second penalty! Are we going to see the leaders pit?
Harry's got to come in, because he's got a gap, I think. And he gets within his 5-second penalty if he does that as well.
He will be serving the 5-second penalty. That's going to drop him down quite a bit as well,
yeah, but there's a big gap between 5th and 6th as well. I think the rest of them might come in as well. If he can get rid of some of those penalties, he'll negate the amount of places he's going to lose as a result of the safety car, which is bad because they're going to bunch up. It'll cost him.
It's going to be at least a 2-lap sprint, and it's going to be close. Maybe as well, Big Weir can regain some of that battery that he's been draining so heavily.
We'll wait, see. Stay
Big Weir stays out! Big Weir stays out!
Oh, we'll wait to stay out as well. That is what I want to know, because I'm thinking Waitsy could benefit here if he stays out and get in front of these.
He stayed out every time. Will they do it again? No, they won't. They're pitting.
Grunfeld stays out now. This is everyone's in completely shock. I think there might only be like 1 or 2 laps.
No one knows what to do.
Out in front though of Finley, and that could be crucial if there's only 1 lap on the restart. Finley's going to have to make 2 overtakes in 1 lap.
Quite possibly, we could get the safety car coming in before the group actually bunches up.
I don't think I'll be in this lap, but will it be in this lap or the end of the next lap? This is it.
It's going to be close, and we are going to watch every second of it.
So just before we get on to that, I just want to talk about next week's race. So where will next week's race be at?
It's Britain.
It's Britain for the sprint qualifying format. Are you going to be there, or are you on your holiday?
I think I might be on my holiday. I'll see what happens. This holiday's movable, I'd say.
This holiday's movable. Interesting.
Yeah. It may happen, it may not.
Interesting, but you know, it's Britain there, and obviously over the weekend I think we've got LSR running again, correct? I am not the person to go to that. Jonah is the person to go to, but I believe we've got LSR coverage this weekend as well. So, and then we're back next week from Monday. So Tuesday's season is now finished, so we'll have to wait until next season for more coverage of that. It's the Monday finale. Oh, and the safety car comes in this lap, and that is, you were right.
We are going to have, it's going to be tight. We've got cars like just battling to try and get closer and closer to these 3. It's a good showing for Bentley. They've got 2 drivers in the top 5 currently, but can they keep that?
It's going to be tough. Can Apex make the overtake as well? This is everything.
Apex has got to get past Gromfeld, and then he's also got to get past Big Weir. But the key difference is Apex is on the fresh softs.
I think only the top 6 are going to catch up, are they, here? I don't think the rest of them are going to have time.
It's going to be close.
Maybe Kingzone might get there. He's pushing flat out. I can see him on the track map. I don't think he's going to quite get there unless Big Wheel holds the field. For his teammate, he might hold the field.
And he's gone. He's gone.
And this is it on the restart.
Again.
And Apex is down the inside of Grunfeld.
And he's made the move.
Oh,
sorry. Will it stick?
Oh,
Jesus,
no! And it's all gone wrong for Force India.
It's gone so wrong!
Oh no. And how has he done that on the restart on those cold tyres?
Maybe his tyres were too cold, maybe they're just too worn. But they just couldn't hold it.
And Apex is looking in a fantastic position to take the win here. Can H. Rosworth overtake for second and then pull in a big enough gap? I'm seeing him all over like a There's the yellow flag. Who's that? Is that Lewis?
Lewis has spun.
And so, ooh, yeah.
Oh, that was close.
It was very close indeed.
He's got no front wing now. He's got to do a whole lap without that wing, and it's going to
Oh, H. Rosworth almost drops it into the wall. That was so tight.
He's really pushing on the back of Grunfeld. He wants that position.
He needs that position. He's got to make the overtake if he wants to pull a big enough gap to the cars behind, but he doesn't go for it, and that is, he's got a 3-second time penalty. That is critical. He has to go for it. But he doesn't. And there's going to be no DRS because then the 2 laps left. So, you know, these chances where he can make the overtake is where he's got to make the overtake, otherwise he's going to lose positions. He has to make the overtake and pull the gap. I think Grunfeld's got the same penalty. Oh, he almost loses that.
Yeah, I think if these two keep fighting, Jay Bradfield is on for 2nd place, Kingsholm is on for 3rd place, quite possibly.
Kingsholm makes the overtake there at the final corner. They're going side by side to the last corner.
It's the last lap. Let's go.
And that's how these two pull the gap. If H. Rosworth can pass, perhaps he can pull the gap.
He's just got to keep pushing. He's seen Big Weir spin in front of him. He's just got to stay focused on what's ahead of him.
Yeah, that's like BKS is out.
There's a retirement in the pits. That's last lap. I don't know if I'm quite sure about that decision.
No, but he will have completed the required thingy, but he's going to lose positions, obviously. He'll still be classified. And interestingly, I think Jason has damage, but he stayed out, or he might have damage because he tapped the wall, but he stayed out because he knows he doesn't have to pit, he can still come in for 7th.
It may be some very minor damage, but it's still damage. It's going to be bugging him and nagging at him.
H.R.'s are still unable to make the move, and this is costing him.
He's just got a little bit more overtake than Grunfeld, but he's pushing so hard.
He might have the gap to JD Bradfeld with that penalty, if he, but you know, to get on the podium, he has to make the overtake on Grunfeld, and I don't think he's going to be able to, unless Grunfeld's got a bigger penalty. Oh, and he hits the wall and he slides out a bit wide. I'll check the penalties. I haven't even checked the penalties. It's 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
No, can anyone get a warning to the final couple of corners? If not, he's going to be, I think Kingshome's going to snatch 2nd there.
Yeah, Harry's just going to miss out on the podium here. He's really going to kick himself. As Apex takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. What a race.
What a race.
Start to finish, that was absolutely crazy.
With Apex, what a win. Across the line, he took the checker flag to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Kingshome in 2nd, Grunfeld 3rd, H. Bosworth 4th, Bradfeld 5th, Waitsy 6th, you got Big Weir 7th, Shotby like 8th, Ginaldi's coming to the last corner now, goes 8 P9, and Lewis is going to come through the final couple of corners with no front wing, but he is going to take home P10 when he gets the checker flag.
He'll get there, don't worry, he'll get there.
We're just waiting for it, and then I'll do a final rundown of the ladder and we finish there.
It's interesting to note, Waitsy technically is currently just sat on the main straight with his left front wheel off his car. He crashed out after he crossed the start-finish line.
Wow. Oh, and
Lewis hits the back of him.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Oh, and that is what a race. Apex driver of the day, rightly so, 16th to first.
Yeah.
He couldn't expect any more than that. I think
might as well be last to first.
yeah, it might as well be in the wet, particularly at the start. So we've got Apex Finley took the win with Kingsholm in second. We had Grunfeld in third with H. Bosworth in fourth. Bradfeld took fifth with Waitsy in sixth. Big Way was seventh with Shotby like in eighth. Ginaldi in ninth with Lewis in 10th. BKS was 11th with Lucas Paul in 12th. Price was 13th, I think that was 4 laps down though. And then the beginning of the retirements, that's Mango, Shug's Life, that's you unfortunately, Milan, The Unsainted, and Flea. So what a race.
What a race. What would be your moment of the race? You saw every minute of it. What would be your moment?
What would be my moment of the race? I mean, I don't know what my moment of the race, my performance of the race is. It's Finley's opening corner overtakes with that incredible, I would say dive bomb, everyone was out of the way. But in terms of my moment of the race, I've got to say, it's that safety car and the call to stay out or to come in. I think that really decided the race today.
That was a real big decider, and we saw what really happened after that decision.
So, what a good race there at Singapore. It was a bit unpredictable. We're back next week for Britain with the sprint qualifying format. Shug's Life may not be there, but he's been with me in commentary. I'd like to thank you for doing commentary with me in the race, and obviously Apex for in qualifying as well.
It was always fun. I enjoyed the race. It was very wet, very moist. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
And yeah, so that's going to shake up the standings a bit. We'll see next week. I should be back for commentary hopefully next Thursday. Jonah definitely is unlikely to be here, but we might have someone else with me as well, who knows, and maybe one of these guys will join me again. But we've got LSR at the weekend. Next week we've got the finale on Monday. Tuesday's already done, and then we're back next week Thursday at Britain, as I've said. So to all the viewers on Limitless Gaming Esports, thank you for listening to today's stream. I hope you've had a good one, and it's me and Shugs signing off.
Goodbye.